It was the last minute of the second leg of the 2012 Champions League semi-final between Barcelona and Chelsea at Camp Nou. Fernando Torres caught the ball on the break, walked it around goalkeeper Victor Valdes, and shot into an empty net to confirm the Blues' place in the final. Camp Nou was shedding tears, whilst Gary Neville's infamous goalgasm shrieked through every television in England. It was unbelievable. It was epic. It was Torres' moment after a miserable year and a half at Chelsea. But what went into that memorable goal? Let's zoom in and look at the key people that led us there. The last man standing between Torres and absolute heroism was Victor Valdes, first choice goalkeeper for Barca during the club's greatest era. Barcelona born and bred, Valdes joined Barca's academy La Masia when he was 10 years old, making his first team debut a decade later in 2002. In the year that followed, Barcelona changed managers 3 times in 12 months, and Valdes still managed to secure his place in the starting 11. At the end of Barcelona's 2011-12 season, Valdes would become the first player to win 4 consecutive Zamora trophies, awarded to the goalkeeper with the lowest goals-to-games ratio in La Liga. He already had 3 Champions League trophies, he was a 5-time La Liga champion, had won 2 Copa del Reys, 5 Spanish Supercopas, 2 FIFA Club World Cups, and 2 UEFA Super Cups. He made mistakes, as all goalkeepers do, but for Barca, he was their keeper. And when Torres began his run, Valdes was the only man for the job. The only other Barca player within shouting distance was Sergio Busquets. Busquets had joined Barca's under-19 team in the summer of 2005, moving up to Pep Guardiola's Barca B side 2 years later. He got his chance when Guardiola took charge of the first team and played a key role in the famous 2009 treble, winning La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. Busquets swiftly established himself as one of the best defensive midfielders in the game, starting the 2010 World Cup final for Spain and the 2011 Champions League final as Barca won again. And here, Guardiola had put colossal trust in Busquets, lining up with 3 defenders, 6 attackers, and Busquets as the only true midfielder. And he'd been mostly brilliant, even opening the scoring with a rare goal in the 35th minute. After Didier Drogba's goal had won Chelsea the first leg 1-0, Busquets had levelled the tie on aggregate. 2 minutes later, John Terry was sent off for digging his knee into Alexis Sanchez. Andres Iniesta scored a second in the 43rd minute, and Chelsea were crumbling before the break. Barca were surely on their way to the final in Guardiola's final bow at Camp Nou. Guardiola, who had famously been a ball boy, player and captain for the club, was appointed manager of the first team in 2008, and he couldn't have asked for a better start. In his first year, Guardiola pushed them to the top of the table with an unbeaten run of 22 games, defeating Real Madrid 2-0 in his first El Clasico, and more memorably, winning 6-2 in his first Clasico at the Bernabeu later that season. Days later, Barca controversially got past Chelsea in the Champions League semi. That time, it was Barca down to 10 men and securing its passage to the final in the closing stages. A tie that only added to the spice here. That season, the Catalans completed the treble, and Guardiola became the youngest ever manager to win a Champions League. The following year, they might have won another one if not for a volcano and Jose Mourinho's Inter, but they still won La Liga. In 2010-11, they were denied a treble by Mourinho's Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, and in beating Manchester United in the Champions League final, left Sir Alex Ferguson in awe of the best team he'd ever faced. Guardiola would be crowned FIFA Coach of the Year at the end of the 2011-12 season, and, having tired of the intense spotlight of being Barca's manager, hoped to walk away from Camp Nou with a third European Cup. But it wasn't meant to be. Because in first half added time, out of nowhere came a superb chip by Ramirez to make it 2-1, 2-2 on aggregate. Chelsea were going through on away goals if they could keep Barcelona at bay. Minutes into the second half, Drogba gave away a penalty, but Lionel Messi smashed the crossbar, which cemented his absurd record of failing to score against Chelsea in 8 matches, more than he had played against anyone without a goal. The fact that 10-man Chelsea survived 43 minutes after Messi's penalty miss was no small feat, and credit must go to manager Roberto Di Matteo. Well, him and the legend that is Petr Cech, who had an exceptional game. After Terry's sending off, Di Matteo organised his side in a 6-3 formation, masterminding the astonishing rear guard. Few could have expected this after a chaotic campaign, least of all Di Matteo. Following Chelsea's poor results and humiliation that season, Andre Villas-Boas was sacked in March 2012 and Di Matteo appointed interim manager. By that point, Chelsea were already on the brink of being eliminated from the Champions League, and what followed was one of the greatest turnarounds in the competition's history. Though he too would be sacked within just 8 months, Di Matteo had given Chelsea an FA Cup and Champions League trophy as manager, to go along with a few trophy-winning goals as a player, and will forever hold a special place in the heart of every Chelsea fan. With Chelsea down to 10 men, Di Matteo was their extra man on the pitch. And of course, he was the one who put Torres on as a sub in the last 10 minutes. Torres was once the best number 9 on the planet. He broke into the Atletico Madrid first team as a teenager and quickly staked his claim as one of the world's most exciting young strikers. Liverpool snapped up the Spaniard in the summer of 2007 and he took the Premier League by storm, scoring 33 goals in all competitions in his debut season. After his Euro 2008 and World Cup 2010 triumphs with the Spanish national team, he broke the British transfer record, sealing a dramatic £50 million move to Chelsea in January 2011. There is no beating around the bush. Torres was a huge disappointment at Chelsea. He failed to score in his first 13 games, his struggles never better illustrated than a mind-blowing open goal miss at Old Trafford. Faced with a similar chance here, Chelsea fans held their breath. But Torres held his nerve. The angst washed away and his move to London rewarded during those last unforgettable moments. And again when Chelsea went on to beat Bayern Munich in the final. And even though first-choice striker Drogba was the hero in the final at the Allianz Arena, the 2012 Chelsea triumph is defined by that Torres goal. It was their glory, but it was Torres' moment.